It's a new week. Welcome back to Mets Daily. Hope you're all staying safe in this blizzard we got going on. It's still going as we record here on Monday morning, February 23rd. Over a foot of snow, which is weird because baseball has begun. And you watched the Mets' first spring training games over the weekend. This is Mets Daily. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on this video right now. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. We appreciate your support. And go follow me right now on all social media. And go subscribe to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. A couple of takeaways from the first couple of games. Well, listen, first off this, and Wardy was getting a lot of heat for it, our buddy Wardy, about Pete Alonso. Can we stop? Can we just stop? Who cares that Alonso hit 2 spring training home runs off a couple of bums? Who cares? Why are we tracking every home run like he's still a Met? He's been gone for months. The obsession with this guy has reached sickening levels where some of you need to get help. I mean, I get it. He was a great Met. We loved him. Hope he does well. Fine. I could care less how he does. If Pete Alonso hits 20 homers, to be honest, I'm going to be thrilled because I'm going to say, you know what? Glad we didn't sign him. So I'm not rooting against him, but I'm not really rooting for him. I don't, will they beat the Yankees? Sure, go beat the Yankees. I'm not a Baltimore Oriole. The Orioles are not my second team because Pete Alonso is on the Orioles. And if that's your case, fine. That's your prerogative. I'm not going to hold it against you. But like the home run tracker for every home run he hits is just nauseating. It's February 23rd. Can we stop? I mean, my God. It's getting weird. The guy never won a pennant. What are we doing here? He's not Babe Ruth. He's not Hank Aaron. He's not a multi-time World Series winner. He's a guy who won a couple home run derbies and a rookie home run contest. That's it. We're acting like he's the second coming of God. My goodness. Anyways, again, don't put too much stock in spring. What we look for in spring is guys are looking good, they're healthy, they're ready to go. We're not looking at their average, their WAR, they're on base. We don't care about that. They're getting pulled after 1 or 2 at-bats anyway. And I thought some, takeaways from the first 2 games. Well, always good to beat the Yankees no matter when you're playing them. I mean, spring it doesn't count, but that's always nice. But the home run barrage yesterday, you had Sanger homer, you had Terens homer, you had Schwartz homer, you had our old friend Jared Young homer. I thought you saw some decent pitching performances. Nothing really, that important, but you saw some decent pitching from the Mets. You saw Carson Bench out there, and we'll talk about Carson Bench in a bit. But, there's not too many things you should take away other than the fact of stop spending all your time worrying about their stats in spring, the records in spring. None of it matters. Just like the whose line is at any points. It doesn't matter. They're made up, and it doesn't count. What does count, though, is taking care of your body, taking care of your health. I'll be 36 soon, and it all used to be so easy. Everything was easy. And now it needs to be said that it hits you like a brick wall. When you hit like 34, it hits you like a brick wall. The same workouts, same diets, and it felt like I've been moving through mud. People don't tell you this stuff, but one day you're crushing it. Next day you're wondering, why is everything so much harder? Why is it harder to get to the gym? Why is it harder to, do the dishes? Most men start losing testosterone at age 30, about 1% every year after that. And when this new year hit, I kind of treated it like a little reset. I wanted to feel energized again, not worn down. So I'm keeping it simple and doing something natural that supports my body when it needs it. And that's why I'm taking Mars Men. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Your body makes testosterone. A lot of it gets locked up, but it can't be used. There's this protein called SHBG that basically handcuffs your testosterone. Even if your body's making testosterone, SHBG locks it up so you can't access it. It's like having money in the bank, but your debit card's not working. Mars Men is designed to help free locked testosterone so your body can actually use it. No synthetics, no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize energy, focus, and strength. Stronger physical performance, quick recovery in the gym, more consistent natural energy. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's a steadier sense of drive throughout the day. Feeling a little bit better now in 2026. Good way to kick off the new year. It supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina, 8 natural, clinically dosed ingredients, made in the USA, and third-party tested. 90-day money-back guarantee. So there's no risk at all, baby. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back, but over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Shout out to me, baby. 1991. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support Mets Daily. Support our show and tell them Mets Daily sent you. Speaking of Mets, Jorge Polanco at first base. He's looked solid, but I think the reality we're going to see here is that I think a lot of people, I told a lot of people this, and I think a lot of you know this as well, is, Jorge Polanco is now playing 150 games at first base. The Mets are going to mix and match some guys, and one thing I haven't wanted to see that, unfortunately, we're going to see some of, and listen, I'm rooting for him. I hope he improves. I know I'm hard on this guy, and that's Mark Vientos. You're going to see, you saw it over the weekend, you're going to see some Vientos at first base just because, if there's a position for him, the Mets don't trust him at third. Another takeaway, I guess, that I didn't mention, everyone, saying, Bo Bichette, bad throw. He had an outfielder at first base, by the way, Jose Ramos. It's not like he had a first baseman catching that ball. It wasn't the worst play in the world. Everyone ripped Bo Bichette for that throw. And I was like, here we go, first game, and these dirty, wild throws. You're going to, again, if Bichette fails, you'll see a mix and match, but you're going to see mix and match at first base. You're going to see some Polanco, you're going to see some Vientos, and you might see some Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty also talked about how, he feels comfortable in the outfield, and he feels like his arm plays well in the outfield. Well, you might see some Beatty in right, you might see some Beatty at first. It's going to be very interesting. Carlos Mendoza is going to have his hands full how to distribute this first base, philosophy. Because the other side of this is Marcus Semien playing 162 at second? We haven't really talked about backup second base or if Semien needs to rest. Brett Beatty is that super utility guy. Brett Beatty will play some backup second base as well. Jorge Polanco has played second base his career. Polanco can also be at second base. So the Mets, like I've talked about, have that positional flexibility where it's going to be a lot of mixing and matching there at first base, but you're going to see guys all around the diamond. And that's going to be fascinating to watch. But who's on first? Let us know. Would you rather see more Mark Vientos at first and Jorge Polanco DH? Let us know what you would rather for the New York Mets in the 2026 season. So, the Mets are starting new routines on the infield, and we're starting some new routines. It's time to cut back on caffeine, Adderall, nicotine. You got early mornings, late nights, the gym. You were taking probably more than you meant to. This New Year is about getting a little bit of reset. Your sleep, your energy, your workouts, your stress levels. And, sleep slipping, recovery is a little bit harder. Stress is definitely feeling higher. And that's why I decided to use Ultra pouches, completely nicotine-free, caffeine-free, packed with nootropics that are designed for mental clarity and enhanced focus. Same kick as a nicotine pouch, but without those side effects. Most pouches elevate cortisol, raise blood pressure, and keep your body in a constant stress state. Ultra pouches let you keep your pouches, but with a cleaner kick. Look, we got the different flavors. We got cool mint. We got a little bit of tropical. And we got wintergreen. One of my biggest New Year goals was get better sleep, and that's where I noticed the difference first. Falling asleep is easier. Waking up actually feeling rested finally. Nicotine pouches will spike your resting heart rate at night, and that kills your body and brain's ability to recover. Another New Year's goal, better workouts and recovery. And PR days stop feeling harder than they should. Nicotine will disrupt your hormone balance. It can lower testosterone. And yeah, it can literally shrink your balls. Speaking of baseballs, shrink your balls. Start the year off with focus, discipline, and consistency. 90% of users saw significant improvements in their overall focus levels. Enhanced memory, smooth energy, calm, steady flow state focused, mood balance, all with zero nicotine and natural nootropics. Trusted by top athletes, entrepreneurs, and engineers around the world. Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use code FANARCH to get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's takeultra.com for 15% off with code FANARCH. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Tell them Mets Daily sent you. Over to Ultra. Speaking of Ultra, Carson Bench is a ultra top prospect for the Mets. And, there's not many stats to write home about that we saw, but we did see him out there. I think the experience is good. Balls are going to be hit his way. More at-bats are going to be coming his way. And he's going to get every chance to win that job. And we've heard all about Carson Bench without having mentioned a lot of A.J. Ewing. A.J. Ewing, another guy who's going to play around the diamond, who can play some second base. Another, we talk about Marcus Semien, but Simeon's the 3-year guy. I think A.J. Ewing, if the Mets don't trade him, is the long-term guy. And he has played a lot of second. He has played outfield. And watch out for A.J. Ewing. Luis Angel Acuna is that super utility defensive speed guy. A.J. Ewing's the guy that stole 70 bases in the minor leagues in 2025. It might not be this year, but next year I would watch out for A.J. Ewing. And if there are a few injuries this year and A.J. Ewing looks good in the minors, don't be shocked if September we see A.J. Ewing on this Mets team. I think the Mets really like him. His swing is really smooth. You saw it yesterday. And I think A.J. Ewing has the potential to be something special for the New York Mets. So shout out to A.J. Ewing. Shout out to Carson Bench. Two kids. They're going to get their chance at glory. We'll get back to your comments on tomorrow's Mets Daily. Subscribe, smash that thumbs up, follow, and thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Mets Daily.